Hello and welcome back to An Bit Here, episode 249. My name is Tom.
My name's Ant.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down a bit, there is an Amazon banner. You click on the Amazon banner, you go and buy Captain Marvel or whatever it is that, has come out recently. Alita, yes. And we get 5% of your total basket spend. So spend as much as you can, because we know you do spend all your money on Amazon because, it's just convenient. But if you can go through our banner, we get 5% of your total basket spend. It comes to us, it helps us pay for our web hosting per year, so we don't have to put any of our own hard-earned cash into it. It's just nice to do, really.
Yeah, and if you don't have any, if you actually, I'm not going to do the usual if you don't spend money on Amazon, because you all do.
Because you should do that anyway.
But if you want to also support us on a regular basis, you can do that through Patreon, which there's a banner on abhpod.com already, for $1 a month. That's the only tier we've got. You can choose to donate more, but we only ever ask for $1 a month if you're going to do it. You get this episode and all other episodes without the intro on the front of them. You get After the Podcast, which are exclusive to Patreon. You can get spoiler cast as we record them. Tom did a Spider-Man Far From Home one last time. That's up there for the Patreons already. The guys on the regular feed will get to listen to it in the future when we need to take a break for some point. We also do YouTube videos occasionally, and you will get those early on the Patreon feed. But if you get the audio stuff, you can get an RSS feed that you put in your podcast app, and anytime we release any audio content, that just goes straight there automatically. For $1 a month, $12 a year, that's like a tenner.
It's pretty good.
£10.
It's like you wouldn't even notice that if it fell down the back of your sofa, would you?
Which it generally does.
Yeah. You can find us on Twitter at ABHPod, on Facebook.com/ABHPod, and YouTube.com/ABHPodcast. Come and talk to us there. We are usually there, and usually we respond pretty quickly as soon as we see it anyway.
And this week, we responded to one on the episode. We got an email, we responded on the episode. We actually spoke about that.
We did. Robbie Polanco, he's been in Guatemala, meeting Kabul Special Forces.
And this week, there's been a lot of film-related news come out, so we sort of react to that on this episode as well.
Yeah, stuff like Cats, James Bond, other things.
Mm-hmm.
And those kind of take up, quite a large part of the episode. It's not rambly, but we've only got a couple of topics that we kind of really went deep in, I think. But first, I did some more travelling. So here's the story of my Wednesday.
Enjoy.
Anyway, I've got a few things. I went to an interesting thing this week, and a couple of interesting things on the same day.
Right. Go ahead.
Are we recording?
Yeah. I started recording.
Yeah. So, Wednesday I had a really busy day. I went up to Milton Keynes in the morning for 10 o'clock. So I left here at 7, which was really kind of like 3 hours to get to Milton Keynes in the morning through the Dartford Tunnel around the M25.
Yeah.
Was a little bit. I got there 10 minutes to spare. So
wow.
And I stopped for breakfast. I've had a full English.
But the problem is 7 o'clock, because I leave for work at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
To get to work for like 7:15. It's not quite Milton Keynes, but 7 o'clock, it's that time of day where if you're leaving at 7 o'clock, you're fine.
Yeah.
If you leave at 7:05, you're fucked. Yeah. It's that time of day when everyone's like, oh, if I leave at 7, I should be right. Everyone does that.
Yeah.
And everyone leaves a couple of minutes late, and that's when it gets stuffed up.
Except right now, because it's the school holidays now. I can wake up almost half an hour later in the morning and still get the 20 miles to work at the same time. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I had a really clear run through. It was fine. But it was to see this company called Invisix.
Right.
And they are working on, or they've produced a heads-up display for cars that uses holography.
Right.
And it's fucking insane.
You've seen it?
Yeah. Like they've got a demo set up there where you kind of sit on a stool and there's a small windscreen in front of you.
Yeah.
And they've got it working. There's a projector in the distance that's showing like a rolling.
Yeah.
Whether it's a bunch of clips. It's like cars going through traffic, getting on and off motorways.
Yeah.
having hazards come out and stuff like that. And what this thing does, it projects like the cluster on the windscreen, as though it's about 2 meters in front of the car.
Wow.
Sorry, excuse me. Hay fever has been kicking my ass the last couple of weeks. I've never fucking had hay fever before.
I've never had it.
Right.
Well, last year mildly. This year it's picked up pace a little bit. I'm actually having to take antihistamines.
Yeah, my right eye has been swollen for days. Fucked. It's fine now because it's raining.
Yeah.
But I've woke up feeling like one of those bloody not medicine balls, those spiky massage balls has been in my eye socket rather than my eye. It's felt really, it's horrible. Anyway. So yeah, they project this thing, the instrument cluster out 2 meters in front of the car. The reason being is that you're still looking out.
Yeah, you're still looking out.
And also what it is, if you look down into your internal dash, it's only half a metre away, whereas you're focusing on the horizon basically the whole time you're driving.
Yes.
Coming to a metre and inside, and then going back out to the horizon again.
That second of like refocusing.
Yeah. And the refocusing is less if you're just dipping your eyes slightly, but still watching with your periphery, and it's slightly further away, so your eye is contracting and less, so it's safer.
Yeah.
But it's really clear. Like the resolution on it. Was
it in daylight? As well.
Yeah, it was like
generally with projections, what you get is if it's bright, it's sort of it's hard to see it.
Well, this is something they've been working on and off for like 12 years. This guy who runs the company did it as a PhD on holography, and he's kind of set up a company, and then it got bought out by an American firm, but they wanted to use it for glasses and goggles. And he was like, but automotive is like,
Google
no,
Lens?
it wasn't Google. It was a firm called Daiquiri.
No.
Anyway. But he then spun it back out because he was like, but we can use this in automotive now.
Yeah.
This is like a thing that we definitely can do. So the other thing it does is it's almost like Waze. It puts instructions on the screen, and it also kind of shows you what lane you should be in to take the exit. Like it puts almost like, in racing games where you have the kind of dynamic
tells
racing
you which
line.
corner to take.
And then it can warn you of obstacles, and it also gives you places of reference. Wow. So it's like Waze mixed with
Google Street
View, and it's a safety feature for your car as well. The numbers bent my mind.
Right.
Like he showed me the chip that runs it.
Yeah.
And obviously it's the size of like a chip and pin chip in your credit card or debit card.
Wow.
It's a bit thicker, obviously.
Yeah.
But like that's because it's called a hybrid stack or something. Like there's the
the chip and pin, it's a single layer, whereas this will be multiple layers.
Yeah. And he said, now if I get this right, it will astound me. But he said that it can compute 1,500 million bits of information per second.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so sharp and stuff. And this thing, like, it's quite deep because it's got mirrors in that reflect the hologram off and onto the
different distances and layers. Yeah.
And it adjusts for whichever windscreen it's put in. But the thing they're making right now is going to have no mirrors in it at all, and it's still going to project holograms, and it's going to be like the size of a laptop, the thickness of a laptop. This thing.
It just sits.
Yeah, because the actual computing space in it is the size of an iPhone.
Right.
The rest of it is the mirror,
the projector,
and yeah.
Wow.
But the next thing is going to be really, really compact, and I was like, well, where are you using that then? And he was like, I can't really say. I was like, outside of automotive? Maybe.
And he just got a maybe.
Possibly military? No, I can't say.
Oh, okay.
I was like, right, so fighter jets, yeah. And he couldn't say.
That's kind of how it went.
Yeah.
And he just stayed quiet.
Yeah.
Of course, the thing is, it's like if military did not get involved, the money wouldn't be there to develop.
Well,
these
it's not
technologies.
military at the moment. They're not. They're only in R&D on this next bit, so it's not a physical product. But
what,
yeah,
what
you
I'm
can.
saying
You
is
can.
the military have probably, or the government have probably come in and said, "Can you make it smaller to work with this?"
Yeah. I mean, also the automotive industry want it smaller because obviously, like with electric cars coming in, because this was the other thing I was saying. It's been in development for 12 years.
Yeah.
There were no electric cars. There might have been the hybrid Priuses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Would the thing is it a standalone module that you can buy for your car that you drive now, or is it one that will be put
I think
in
it will be
cars?
put in cars.
Right.
I don't think it's something that you can retrofit. It might be.
Right, yeah.
But I think more than likely you're going to have it in your car in 2021, 2.
Wow.
Like that's how close it is to going in its current deep boxy form. But obviously with electric cars coming in and they're all about lightweighting.
Efficient. Well, because the batteries are so heavy, you need to make the rest of the car light.
That's really one of the reasons.
And it's like Tesla Model 3. You're like, the reason you remove the instrument panel is so you can have a minimalist display. It's not because you'll need it to be light at all.
Because a lot of current electric cars at the moment, like maybe Tesla excluded, but like electric Golfs or electric whatevers, are basically the base model with the engine taken out and electric motors put in. Like they're still made of the same aluminium and whatever. So they're too heavy, which is why you've got range anxiety.
Yes.
Like there's a brand new set of vehicles coming out. I know Volkswagen are doing a specifically electric. Like they've redesigned like 3 or 4 different cars and they're coming out next year.
Wow.
They've got a camper van. Like, and it looks super futuristic.
Electric camper van.
Yeah.
Nice.
It looks awesome. It's called. They're called the ID range. I think the camper van is called ID Buzz. But it's like it looks like a classic camper van, but it's kind of futuristic looking as well.
Wow.
And they're all made out of composites and things like that, and
lightweight materials
and they're specifically designed aerodynamically for electric, like to be as
just to get
efficient
the range
as possible. Yeah, precisely. But that's it. I also got to see a bunch of stuff that Citroen are doing for the future at Goodwood as well.
Yeah.
And those things are insane, like mental concepts.
Concept cars are always so good. I remember years ago.
But these Volkswagen ones are real.
Oh, they're real,
coming out. But like this concept car was unreal.
Where was it? I think it was when the motor show was still at Earl's Court, when that was still a thing. We went to the motor show, and I can't remember what company it was, but they had a car called the Cube.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's a Nissan
Cube. It sounds like it, but it was just so weird.
It's a box on wheels, isn't it?
It was, but the wheels were round, but then they designed it so that the hubcaps, or what would be the alloys, I suppose they are now, the actual wheel itself, that it had like a design like it was a square, and then the car was a square, and then everything inside was a square. And it was ugly. It's sin. Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But it's just these concept cars are so weird. I remember when like there was concept cars, like is it the BMW
i6 or i8 or i?
What's the really
the
like the
one.
Lamborghini looking one, the really short one? Is it an i?
I think it's an i6, that one.
But I remember when concept cars looked like that.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, cars are never going to look like that, but they're so cool. And it's out. I see it on the road. I'm like, is that real?
There's one around here that I see.
It looks like a toy.
Yeah.
It looks like the old supercar toys you used to get.
Yeah, with like weird kind of flicky.
I suppose I said it is. It looks like it is a supercar, isn't it?
It's a performance sports car. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's just futuristic.
But
looking.
it's all electric. But
yeah, I just remember seeing cars that look like that at the motor show, and they're like, in X number of years we will have cars like this, and it will do this, that, and the other. And all right. Actually, they've done it.
Yeah.
And there's an Audi that's a similar shape as well, isn't there? Like a really low, looks like what we would call supercars back in the day.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Remember
But it doesn't look like the BMW. It's like it's got like the blue detailing with the carbon fibre top
and it's got weird cutout bits that like should in any normal car would kind of go on to other bits of the car, but they just kind of stick out.
Yeah.
Like fins and stuff. Yeah, they're great looking things.
Anyway.
But yeah, so I went around there, saw them, and then I had to get back because that evening I was down in Canterbury watching RHLSTP.
Oh, you went to the Canterbury one. Oh, brilliant.
Because Sean was on it.
Yes. I was going to message you, actually, and say, should we go? But then I think I was working anyway.
Yeah, I managed to wangle some tickets. So, like, you know.
You went?
Yeah. So I went.
Yeah.
So Joe and I went. And but the weird thing was, like, we chose the tickets. And there's... In the Marlow Theatre, there are slip stalls, like, down the sides of the main stalls.
It was at the Marlow?
Yeah.
That's quite big.
It is, yeah. The top circle, there was no one in it.
Yeah.
The middle circle, there were, like, I don't know.
A few.
And the stalls weren't. Like, the front stalls were completely sold out.
Yeah.
And half of the back stalls were sold out.
Because that's what you said, Marlow. Is like the Leicester Square Theatre podcast is like a couple of hundred.
Yeah, like max.
And Marlow's like 600-700 seats.
Yeah, possibly more because they've had a refurb.
Yeah. I've been there. What did I see at the Marlow? Canterbury Marlow. What did I go to? Was that's where I went to see Avenue Q? I believe. Yeah. So yeah, it's
a proper sized theatre
for a podcast.
Yeah. So I don't think he was ever expecting to say, like, he always says that, you know, there's always tickets available for certain ones.
Yeah.
And now you can kind of see why.
There's always tickets available.
But yeah, so we gone on the slips so that we were kind of slightly higher up than the stalls and looking in from the side of the stage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like Brixton Academy. Like the best place to stand in Brixton Academy is up on that right hand side.
Yeah. It's just above where the toilet stairs are in the Brixton Academy, isn't it? But yeah, the Marlow's different.
Yeah, but we got there and my phone was dying because my phone, obviously up and down the M1, was trying to find signal the whole time. By the time I got home, it was like 20%, and I was like, "Fuck, we've got to go now to get to there to eat some food and stuff." While there's no signal in Canterbury because it's a medieval city.
It's dead. It's completely dead.
The whole city is made of horsehair and wood.
Yeah, pretty much.
And solid stone.
Hang on. I think we're doing a disservice to the town's name here.
It's Canterbury. Of course. Sorry. Oh, man.
How many times have we said that without actually dropping it in? Fucking hell.
It was well spotted. I apologise.
Anyway,
Sorry, Adam.
So that's the first thing I did. When I went there with Liz, when we went to see the Ataris and Monday Elliott at the Penny Theatre, I took a picture of the sign and sent it to Adam. Just
because you can. But yeah, so again, I then was like, right, I'm on like 10% battery. I've got to send you the ticket information so that we can pick them up.
Yeah.
Or like at least just show it.
Yeah.
At the door. And as I was sending the email, my phone died.
Oh shit.
So we'd arranged to meet Sean in the pub right opposite it's called the Canterbury Tales.
Yeah. Down the steps.
That's literally you go in there to get your interval drinks. They do in there.
Yeah, they do interval drinks. Yeah. It's a real nice setup. Really nice theatre.
Yeah. Like the actual theatre itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like can't remember whether I've been there since it was refurbished. I must have.
I think I've only been there since it's been refurbished, but I've been like 3 or 4 times in the last however many years. And
so I asked in the pub if there was anyone with like a phone, an iPhone charger, and they didn't have one. So I went over to the theatre and asked the guy behind the thing. I was like, look, I've been trying to send the thing and I've got that, but my phone's dead. So can you look me up on the thing so we can get the tickets? And he was like, yeah, sure. And printed my tickets off. And he was like, I've got a charger behind here if you want. Leave your phone here. I was like, I'm just in the pub across the road. So
cheers.
Yeah, thanks. So I got the tickets, went across, sat back down, waited for Sean to come along. And then as we went, I went to pick my phone up about half an hour later. He was like, there's a bit of a problem in that it's being recorded and the camera crew want those 2 slips to record in. We weren't, like, they've only told us in the last couple of hours while they've been setting up.
Yeah.
And now we've got to tell everyone who's got seats in those slips that they need to move to other seats. Yeah. And I was like, really? Because like those are the ones that I wanted.
I chose them.
Yeah. And like he was really good. This guy Jacob. He took me.
He took his name.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
Yeah.
That's how you know when you know the guy's name.
Super accommodating.
Yeah.
I was like, look, let's just see what we can do because surely there must be. But what it is, those slips, you go in to them from in front of the stage and up some stairs and in.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously on the flat plan you can't see the layout, and then it's boxed off at the top end, so you can't get out that way. And then we were like, well, maybe he was like, what we can do probably if you don't want to, if you want to, because the cameras were literally on the front seats of the two on either side of the stage. Like the rest of the seats were
free.
So he was like, well, if you don't want to, because obviously at this point as well, all the stalls were full, so we'd have to be sitting at the back.
Back end,
so I thought, because I wasn't sure if they were opening the circles, or what. So I was like, well, I'm not sitting at the back. I want to sit where I got my tickets because I'm being fucking awkward.
I don't like to sit in the front area of the stalls. I quite like to sit in the second area of the stalls, so it's slightly raised. Like in a cinema, I like to sit middle.
Right.
So like in the theatre, especially the Marlow, I like to sit not. Well, ideally it would be on the front row where the walkway is between the two. But if you sit a couple of rows back, so you've got your level.
To be fair, when I saw the layout, I realised that you could actually see pretty well from anywhere. Like, you know, it wasn't a
but
big
anyway,
deal.
that's
but
not
it was
the
like,
point.
well, maybe exactly.
I'm British.
And Sean got me the tickets.
Yeah.
Like, I started dropping that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
do you know who my uncle is?
Yeah, precisely, you know. But it gets like that.
Cringing as you say.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So he was like, well, maybe we can get you, like, if you don't mind climbing over into that bit there. Because they were on the height of this table.
I mean, they're not like old BBC broadcast cameras. They're like...
No. It's not like they're on big, like, you know, they're dragging them around on wheels. Yeah. No. So, like, obviously we couldn't get in up the stairs past the cameras, but we could probably climb in over the rail.
Amazing.
And I was like, well, if that's the way it's got to be, that's the way it's got to be. And he was like, I'm sure we can get you a step or a stool or something to stand. I was like, fair enough, whatever.
Yeah.
I went back and told Jo this, and she laughed. And then we sat
funny.
There. Yeah, it
like,
is.
There's a theatre full of people, and you're climbing over the railing to get to your seat
because I'm so fucking adamant. And
I wish they would have filmed that.
I wish I had recorded it. Believe me, because.
But your phone was dead.
Yeah, precisely. So yeah, we sat down and had a couple of drinks with Sean and Adele, and then he left to go in and get prepared. And then we went in, and the guy was like, yeah, we can't let you because of fire regulations. There's no way out. And I was like, I was expecting that.
Yeah.
I was like, right, okay, what's going on then? And he's like, right, the manager is coming down, and she was like, right, we can't put you here. And I was like, well, what's the alternative? Because I'm not sitting at the back. And she was like, well, we can put you up in the box on the thing, like the royal box, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And you were like,
all right. And she was also like, and we'll give you free drinks in the interval. They'll just be waiting, just with a little ticket and your name. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. It pays sometimes to get a little bit worked up.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
For free tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But, like, it's weird because I've never been in those boxes before because I don't have money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
But you've got chairs that you can move around in there. You're not stuck to the floor.
Oh, okay.
Like, you can move them around, you can move them together. You know, it was really nice.
That's great.
And you're literally right above the stage at the front. Like, yeah.
Brilliant.
But the other guest was... Sean went down quite well.
Yeah.
It's not coming out till like November,
right.
I think. But the second act was Vic Reeves.
Oh, wow.
And I think Sean was supposed to be on second, but his daughter, my cousin's graduation was on the next day up in Sheffield.
So he wanted to be done early.
So he needed to be leaving the house at like 5 a.m. to get there for 12 to Sheffield. So he was like, oh, can we go on first? And so they changed it around. Did you hear? I don't know whether you listened to Rehelas Per.
Not for a long time, I haven't.
Not the most recent, the one before, the one that came out recently, the second one ago. Wow.
There should be a word for it.
There is a word for it. was the writer Kay Mellor.
Right.
And she was on a bill with Ricky Wilson from the Kaiser Chiefs. Yeah. That one's not going out because Ricky Wilson was apparently an absolute state.
Really?
Like, they mentioned it briefly in the Kay Mellor one, like, Ricky thought he was on mushrooms or something.
Right, okay.
But yeah, like, he actually referenced it again, even though the Kay Mellor one was back in, like, March or something. Yeah. He referenced it when warming up. He was like, oh, if you've... because he was selling his book, basically. Like, before it, he does a little bit of stand-up. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you know... donate to Scope and Bulb and all that kind of thing, and here are some books, you know, emergency questions. And he was like, this is my autobiography, the Oh Fuck I'm 40 autobiography that one of our last guests, he was tired and emotional, Ricky Wilson, said that it changed his life somehow. Buy it and you can see what it was that might have changed his life. I think he was just a bit, you know. But yeah, like they've not put that one out.
They're not. They're not putting it out.
And I don't think they're going to put the Vic Reeves one out either.
Oh really?
He was fucked.
Really?
He started off okay, and a bit Vic Reevesy,
and then kept drinking.
And he came out with a glass of red wine. Like, he only had the one, but about halfway through, he started kind of getting a bit weird. And it takes one to know one. He started kind of pointing at Richard when he was asking questions. He was like, you know what? And I was like, oh,
I know what's going on.
I know what's going to happen here. I can see it in slow motion.
Yeah.
And slowly he unravelled and started to slur and started to kind of repeat himself and not make any sense, start sentences and not finish them.
And then people stopped laughing.
Yeah. Like, Richard did his best.
Yeah, you got to feel sorry for someone in that position.
And then the last 10 minutes or so, like, because Vic's wife Nancy was also in the audience, which we all knew about because she was joining in.
Yeah. She was shouting.
I think they'd been on the piss, basically, before they got there.
Okay.
And it was, you know, a nice little...
But it must be frustrating as well, because this is something he does to, like, make money.
Yeah.
And then you just get this feeling that people like that are just like, that's a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it. We'll just have a few, like, not take it serious. Which... You know, you shouldn't.
And it's possible that they're friends as well. Yeah, so therefore it's not, you know, he's not taking it as seriously as maybe Sean was. Yeah. Because Sean doesn't, like, Sean's met him once at some celebrity poker game down in Cardiff 15 years ago or something. But
you know, Sean's done podcasts before, so he knows how serious to take them.
Yeah.
We did it first. Tom did it first, to be honest.
I feel like such a cunt.
Why?
Because it's just, I don't know.
It was a good guess.
It never syncs up, does it?
It was a really good episode.
Yeah, I know. It would have been better if you were there because you'd have asked better questions.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because you've not got the closeness. Again,
I've never met him.
No,
still.
Exactly. Yeah, I
And
know.
the thing is, I had this thing the other day. I was like near my work. I went to Tesco at lunchtime, I think it was, or I went to buy. I went to buy my lunch. And I was walking around. I was like one of my mum's cousins put up a picture. She works in that Tesco, and she put up a picture the other day. She'd met Sean in Tesco, and I was just like, I wonder if I'll bump into him here. Like, she put up a picture. She's like, okay, so my mum's cousins met him, my uncle's met him, like my wife has met him. I'm friends with you. I've still never met the guy.
Mate.
It's the thing now. I can't ever meet him.
Yeah, no, it would be weird now, wouldn't it?
I can't ever meet the guy anymore.
Yeah.
But
oh well. But yeah, so the last 10 minutes, Vic started asking Richard questions. Like, it got to that. And there was a point where, like, Rich got out the emergency questions book because, you know,
you need them.
Break glass.
Yeah.
And as soon as he did that, Vic was like, "Oh, we landed on the moon 50 years ago," and went into this big story about the moon landings and totally, like, cut him off. and then turned it round to a thing. It was, I would be surprised if it was released.
It's just weird because I know how that feels, because quite often at work I'm having a conversation with someone and it's what they call pressured speech. It's where they continue to talk.
Right.
And you start to talk to ask them a question about what they've just said, and then they'll just carry on.
Yeah.
That's just their psychosis. That's how it works. It's in their head. They have to say it. It's never it never melds.
Nah.
It's never got anything to do with what they've just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
then
I know how difficult it is to talk to someone.
Yeah,
in
he
that
did
position.
a really, really good job.
And you just sit there going,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But for probably about 20 minutes, and especially the last 10 minutes, you're just cringing and you're like, just stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Like, Rich, just stop the show.
Yeah.
Just say it's like time's up. Like,
Just end
it. Give up. But yeah, I'll be surprised. It'll be interesting in November to see
if it
whether
goes
or not it goes out.
He's put out some disastrous ones. Though,
Yeah. Do you remember really early on the Ray Peacock one where he got heckled in the first 5 minutes or something, and then he spent the rest of the hour berating
that
person for heckling, being like, it's fucking rude. We are up here doing and it was that for an hour.
Yeah.
It was like, but I think he got permission from that guy to put it up.
Yeah.
He was like, are you sure you want this to go out? And he was like, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
No, well.
But yeah.
But
So it was
anyway,
an interesting night out, and obviously, like right at the end as well, we queued up to meet him and get the program signed and all that kind of gubbins. I got a picture with him and thanked him for being nice to me. I was just like, thank you for not taking the piss.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like, it's one of those things. It's so easy, like, especially with a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
It would be.
Well, that was what I was worried about, because he can be quite combative sometimes. He can be he can push.
The thing is, Sean's got this. I don't know what it. Because people, like his Barry from EastEnders, it's the character he played in EastEnders. People feel like that's him, so you could take the piss, like make fun of him. But like you hear from so many people that have met him that he's just a really nice bloke.
Well, that's what he said to me. He was like, he's just really nice.
Yeah, that's it. So of course,
yeah. But I kind of pre-warned Sean before he went in. I was like, he's probably going to do a bit on Pointless.
Yeah,
because he's been on 4 or 5 times and it's never won, and he sure did.
And he did. He went in on it.
Yeah, it was. But like Sean trolled him.
What was he best known as?
Being a paramedic on EastEnders.
Being a paramedic. Oh, because he did that before he was buried, didn't he? Yeah. That's quite funny. That's really funny.
But yeah, no, Sean trolled him without meaning to in the kind of quiz show section of it.
Oh, really?
Because he brought up Pointless and stuff and was like, I've never won, but I don't really talk about it, all that. And he was like, I've been on Mastermind and stuff as well. And Sean was like, I've done Mastermind and this and that and this and the other. And Richard was like, how did you do on those? He was like, I've won them all. Because his other thing is Celebrity Mastermind. He got the highest score that has ever been for second place because he was beaten by a person off the Antiques Roadshow whose specialist subject was antiques,
which is a cheat.
Yeah, where his was like Rasputin or something.
It was Rasputin was Richard Herring,
And so
but Sean won it.
When Richard was like, I came second. I got 34 points and I came second, and Sean was like, what?
Because that's a high score.
Yeah,
it's a really high score.
Yeah, for 5 minutes I had the highest score in Celebrity Mastermind history.
Yeah.
Came second. But he just unintentionally trolled him. It was brilliant.
Just won them all. Richard Herring is brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a brilliant podcast. People should listen to it.
And it's nice that he kind of sticks around after all these things
just to meet people.
Yes, flog stuff, but also he'll give you a little bit of time to chat with him as well.
Yeah. So is he just in the bar out the front?
Yeah, the little kind of where the ice creams and stuff are sold, I guess. Yeah. But that was my Wednesday. It was and then coming back, the M2 was shut. So I had to go through the A2 behind a Romanian lorry driver who was driving in the middle of the road at 20 miles an hour.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So you couldn't even get past him. It was so annoying.
Because I've had this on the A2, but the A2 this end.
Right.
So going between...
Strood and
local
and
podcast.
Dartford.
This is the local section of the podcast. Yeah. No, between Sittingbourne and Rainham.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's pretty much 40 miles an hour.
Oh, the A2, sorry. Yeah.
So, A2, yeah. So it's pretty much... Yeah, from the 249 roundabout, A2 going towards Rainham.
Yeah.
It's 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I was behind a European lorry driver who, for some reason, thought it was 40 kilometres an hour.
Right, yeah.
So, which
that
is
may well
the equivalent of 20 miles an hour.
That may well be what happened.
All the way along, I'm like, I'm already late for work. Why are you driving so slow? I don't understand why it is when you're already running late, everyone tries to stop you.
Yeah. I had a magic journey up and down the M1 and M25.
See, I've had a horrific journey to Milton Keynes, to Milton Keynes and from Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
I made the wrong choice. So on the way to Milton Keynes, I took this road and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. There's roadworks all the way up and it took hours to get, it took too long to get up there, longer than it should have done.
Yeah.
I thought, right, fuck it, I'm avoiding that. I'm not going back down that way on the way home. And I went the other way, where it was down to one lane, and it genuinely took us 8 hours to get back from Milton Keynes. Now, one of our friends who went to the same gig at the Bowl knew that there was traffic on that original motorway, so went up the other one.
Okay.
And got there in like record time, like half the time we did. And he knew that it had gone down to one lane on the one that he came up on, so he went down the one I came up on, and it was clear. So I made the wrong choice both times. He made the right choice both times.
That's so annoying.
You fucker.
Jammy
I didn't have Waze at the time.
No, that's the thing, isn't it? Waze is really
I mean,
helpful.
They all do it now. I think Google Maps even does it now, and Apple Maps does it. I think they all do it now, like the traffic. The reroute you. Yeah, that was a horrific journey.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was like when Joe and I went to Liverpool a few years ago. It took us about 8 hours to get to Liverpool. Like our average speed was like 20 miles an hour or 25 or something. She just fucked.
Yeah. The thing is, you could share the driving there. I was the only driver. I had done a 6 to 2 shift that morning.
Oh, fuck.
Went up to Milton Keynes for a gig. Got home about 8 o'clock the next morning.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. So I'd been up over 24 hours.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
It's the worst. It's the worst journey I've ever had. But.
Speaking of theatres, crash the segue.
Go.
You saw the Cats trailer, right?
Yes.
Well, it looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Weird. I like the show Cats. I worry about how it's going to translate to film.
It looks to me like they're doing the stage show on film. Like it doesn't look to me.
They've done that.
Have they?
There is a filmed version
of the stage show.
Of the stage show. They've done it.
Obviously, this is going between filmic locations, but it looks to me like they're doing all the dances and all the musical numbers.
Yeah. So the thing is with Cats, it's not a musical. It's not really a story. It's not really a dance show. It's like a variety show,
right?
Of like theatre, dance.
Because each cat has their own thing, don't they?
Yeah.
That they do.
Yes, yeah. They all have their individual characters. It's a really interesting. It's a real great concept, and it's a really good show to watch. But on film, it's just weird. They're gonna take it and they're gonna add bits to it to make it more
film
palatable.
Yeah.
I think it'll be great. I mean, I love Jennifer Hudson's got a great singing voice. Yeah. James Corden's got a good singing voice. He's not got a great. You don't like him as a person.
He doesn't have a great singing.
He has a good singing voice. He can sing.
Oh man.
He can sing. Right. He can hold a tune.
He can hold a tune.
Okay, right, fair enough. We'll meet there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my bargain.
He can hold a tune, but
in the way that I can hold a tune.
But the trailer looks great. Do you know what really bugged me about the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, I watched it. The second time round, I was like, I don't know what character Rebel Wilson's playing other than that character Rebel Wilson always plays.
Rebel Wilson as a cat.
Who's not that character? She's Bumblerina, I think, who is supposed to be a bit of a
clumsy,
but not
slapstick. Right, which is exactly what Rebel Wilson does.
Yeah, I think she's Bumblerina anyway. But what really bugged me about the trailer on the first watch, I was watching it, I was like, oh, cool, they've done that thing where they've made the people look like the size of the cats as they're jumping about the room.
Yeah.
And then the last shot, they're like, but they're people-sized in Trafalgar Square.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I thought that as well. I was trying to figure out the ratio.
Yeah.
Because, they're bouncing around that house and, like, all the chairs are, like, up to their heads. Or whatever, and they're, you know, bouncing around on beds that are massive and all that. And then, like Trafalgar Square, they look like people sized because those lions are massive.
Yeah. I've got a picture of me.
Of you. Yeah, I know the
front
picture.
Of that, yes.
I know the picture.
Where we have a watermelon in a stroller or a pushchair. Like, don't worry about it.
Don't question it.
There's a whole story. It was a great day. But yeah, it was just a bit weird. Like, and that character, the main character in the trailer, the white cat, she's called Victoria.
Yeah.
She in the show she does like 2 dances. She's like a ballerina.
Oh, but are they making her the main character then?
But it looks like she's going to be going through it. And I can't remember on the stage show exactly. I don't think she's all the way through it. It's taken from a book, which are like lots of separate poems about cats. About specific cats.
Yeah.
That's what it's taken from. There's a poem about this cat, a poem about that cat. And I believe like the stage show is pretty much like that. And there's not much of a through. There is a bit of a through story.
So it's more kind of sketches with a slightly overarching...
Yeah.
It's slightly overarching story.
Yeah. So it's like a serialised TV show. It's like a Doctor Who where each episode is a story.
Self-contained.
But there is an overarching thing.
Yeah.
Like the early David Tennant series, like that. But that's what Cats the musical is. But this looks like it's taking that Victoria and she's going through the whole thing. She's you as you're going through it.
She's the cipher.
She's the audience. Yeah. But I don't know. I will be watching it.
Yeah, it looks interesting because of the costume. Well, if it is costume design, it probably isn't costume, is it? Let's face it. Because if they can do that with the Avengers suits and all that, you know.
Yeah. But I saw an article something about CG. But I haven't watched. It's a YouTube video about bad CG in the Cats trailer, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know how much they're saying.
Yeah. The only one that I saw was the screenshot that All Seeing Guys put up, which was the James Corden one, where his face looks like it's not even in the right part of the head. Yeah. Like his facial features are down here or something. Yeah. Like there's a massive bit of head up here. But that was just a screenshot. Like, I don't know.
I'll be interested to see. There's a YouTube channel that I'm watching that I love at the minute. Is it Corridor Digital or Corridor Crew? I can't remember what they're called, but they do like CG artists react to bad CG or good CG. Really? It's really fucking good.
Okay,
it is a really really good. You'd enjoy it. They also do. They're visual effects artists themselves, they. Have you seen online? There's a video of like the Boston Dynamics robots fights back.
No.
Oh, you've not seen that?
No,
that's them. They've done that. It's really fucking good. Like it starts of them just beating the shit out of this robot, and then it sort of catches something they throw at them, and it's really good.
Brilliant.
They're fantastic. They did a video, again, visual effects artists, and they did Into the Spider-Verse, and they pointed out that traditional. It's really good. I'm going to explain it because
Into the Spider-Verse is amazing. By the way,
but they point out this thing that I never realised. I noticed. Like, you get it when they say it, you're like, fuck yeah. But traditional animation, old school animation, like the Batman animated series, is shot for cost purposes, 12 frames a second.
Yeah.
Film is shown at 24 frames a second. So for 2 frames, the character's in the same position.
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse, Miles, at the beginning, when he's sort of still becoming Spider-Man, he's animated at 12 frames a second. Really? Whereas, like, the other ones, Peter Parker, the experienced Spider-Man, is at 24 frames a second.
Really?
So his motion is really smooth, whereas Miles is very...
kind of more jerky.
But when Miles suddenly becomes Spider-Man, he is then animated at 24 frames a second.
That's interesting.
It's fucking amazing.
I need to buy that DVD now.
It is amazing.
Yeah, because what I loved about that
so
was
cool.
the mixture of all the animation styles, but I didn't realise it went that deep.
Yeah.
Like,
but they
you
did
know
that to
there's-
show. They did it as a. It's so clever, so clever. It's a much better film than we give it credit for as well.
I know it's an amazing
Yeah.
film, but you just don't, you can't
But
understand.
it's better
the
than we
depths.
think.
Yeah.
Like, there's that shot, you know, when he's falling off of the building, but they've done it upside down.
Yeah.
So it's like he's rising.
Yeah.
At that moment,
Yeah.
although he's falling, he's sort of
He looks. Yeah.
he's committed to it,
Yeah.
and he's rising, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, so good.
It's completely unbelievable.
But-
It's so much better than it had any right to be, that film.
But
anyway,
I'm hoping the Corridor Crew do a
yeah.
Cats trailer to break, like if they do that. But
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of backlash at it, but then I've seen a lot of people who are like, no, it will be fantastic. I worry how it's going to translate.
I've just seen a thing on the BBC, whether or not this loads, let's find out. But it says the headline is "Claws are out for Cats movie trailer."
Mm-hmm. I didn't know this was a thing. I saw the trailer pop up. I'm like, oh, that'll be. And then I watched it. I was like,
Yeah,
it
lots
looks
of people.
great.
Yeah,
The songs are great.
yeah.
I love the show.
But there's that weird thing where I think
The cast is incredible.
Yeah, the cast is amazing.
Like Ian McKellen, Judi Dench, Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo. Yeah, that was weird.
So I didn't sing his name.
Idris Elba.
You're supposed to sing his
Jason
name.
Derulo. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it James Corden, Rebel Wilson?
But James Corden and Rebel Wilson, not or featuring, but.
It's so annoying because Rebel Wilson is a good actress. Like, there's a film she did that it's still a bit comedy, but it's more serious.
Right.
And she's actually a good actress, and she is actually funny. But they do that. Look at her, she's fat thing.
She's kind
but
of.
she buys into it.
Yeah. It's
that's
in the
part of
same way
her-
that Melissa McCarthy kind of does it as well, with like that spy film.
But Melissa McCarthy is a good actress.
Yeah, she's really good. Have you ever seen St. Vincent with
No.
where Bill Murray is her neighbour and she's a single mum and Bill Murray has to look after her kid.
Oh, okay.
Or doesn't have to, but ends up
Yeah.
begrudgingly looking after her kid because he's an old
He's the
curmudgeon.
grumpy man next to her.
And she's amazing in it. She's so good.
But I mean, I used to watch Gilmore Girls, and she was a character in that, and that's I think that's is that where she started? She's stand up, isn't she? But she plays a character in Gilmore Girls who's not she's the sort of ditzy friend, but she's good. She's an actress in that, not this fucking bridesmaid. Look at her. She's the funny fat
one.
Yeah.
Like
I hate that
Miranda.
character. Don't like Miranda.
No, nor do I. That's what I like. It's that whole thing, though.
I don't
isn't
like her
it?
in. I've not seen Call the Midwife. She might be good in that.
Yeah.
But
all that kind of like big women falling over. What the fuck is that about? Like, why is that still a thing?
Miranda writes the stuff herself.
Yeah.
So she's doing that to herself in a sense. Melissa McCarthy, I think. I don't know. Does she write? I don't know how much she had to do with Bridesmaids.
She was on SNL, wasn't she? So
Yeah.
I'd imagine she had a bit to do with, because that Bridesmaids thing was done on the same way as the Judd Apatow films, in which everyone gets to kind of ad-lib everything.
Yeah.
And so therefore a lot of it will be her performance.
I don't know.
But
I don't like that character. Like these, if that's what they choose to do, I'm not telling them that they
yeah, I
shouldn't
think they're
do
doing it in
Like,
an ironic kind of postmodern way where, you know, it's like,
you're going to make fun of me anyway, so I might as well do it
yeah,
myself.
Yeah, but it's
and
a bit
they're
of
making money doing it.
It's a bit of a shame that they have to.
They're
but-
making a lot of money doing it.
Exactly. Who are we to judge?
More power to them. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, do what you want. I, as a white man, I'm telling you, you can do what you want. Go for it, ladies. Shit. Oh, we sound so fucking.
Oh man. Yeah. But I think it's gonna divide people massively because again they're gonna get that weird uncanny valley thing.
Definitely.
With the full, it's like Avatar.
You get that with the show anyway. The costumes are
sure.
Yeah,
well, they're all
it's
one piece.
It's
Kind
so
of,
surreal.
like,
it should never have worked as a show.
And it went on for decades, didn't it?
It did, yeah, and it still tours, and they still get big names touring it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they've had Nicole Scherzinger.
Right.
She did it. I think did Alexandra Burke do it as well?
Probably.
Alexandra Burke. I think she's like they still get names doing it now. So Anyway, that BBC article never loaded.
No, I didn't, did it?
No. I didn't put my hotspot on, did I? So,
no, it's all right.
Yeah.
I've got 2 out of 5 bars. It should be.
Yeah, but it has divided people
Yeah.
massively. Like, I've seen people going at it. Yeah. Like, I think my friend Alex, like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And
that's it, I suppose. If you don't know the source material, it looks fucking insane.
Liz loves the look of it. Chloe said, we have to see that.
Right.
Like, she said, and I was like, yeah, we will. She went, no, it's the law. It would be illegal if we didn't see it. I was like, okay, we're going to see it.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Christ.
Jeez. That's the thing I was going to bring up was the Cats trailer.
Okay.
Remember I said earlier I wanted something.
Yeah.
It was the Cats trailer. That
cool.
was it.
We got there. No, I think it looks great.
Took us there.
The other thing that I was
good.
like, why the fuck was James Corden's name up first?
I bet. Oh no, actually, internationally, like in America, his name would be first because
Judi
he's
Dench.
massive over there. Yeah. James Corden is current. Like he's massive. He's got his talk show out there. Like he's a big name. Do you think if you'd never have seen him in that restaurant, do you think you still have this disdain for him?
I don't know. Probably because I just don't like.
Don't get it.
I don't get it. Yeah. I genuinely, even looking past the fact he's a cunt, I don't get it.
Yeah.
The one That's interaction fair. I've had with him, ever, and he was a cunt.
Yeah.
That colours you forever. I think really, first impressions do count.
They do. Yes.
And regardless of how successful you are, you're a cunt. You're a self. Oh.
But that's the thing. I think you probably wouldn't like him, but you'd be like, I don't see it. But now you're like. No, he's a cunt. Like the vitriol comes out because you.
But there are a lot of people that think like me as well. Who maybe have never met him.
That's true.
There's something about
Yeah.
really overly confident English people.
Yes.
That English people don't like.
Yes.
We are and that's why he's going down so well in America because Americans love that kind of outgoing. Confident, like slightly taking the piss out of yourself, but like you're doing it with confidence, which means you're actually not. And
do you know, I heard this saying once. And I'm going to paraphrase because
sure,
it was something like confidence means I love myself, arrogance means I need you to love me.
And he's arrogant.
That's the difference.
He needs attention.
It's not that he's confident.
No, he's not.
It's that he's arrogant about it. I don't mind him.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't love him. I can watch him and go, okay, that was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't get that. Oh, that was funny. Like I can watch him without wanting to rip my eyes out and my ears off and things like that. I don't hate him.
Yeah, I have watched Gavin and Stacey,
which is great.
Which is good. It's
I
well
like
written.
Except when they went, Christmas special, I went, why?
Yeah, what's the point? But it's the typical British sitcom thing, isn't it?
Royal Family did like their Christmas special a few years ago. I'm like, why? It was good as it was. Leave it.
Yeah.
The
Office extras.
People get so excited about it.
Yeah.
Liz, they're doing that. I was like,
they're never good. They're never as good as The Thing, series. They're
not as good. There's funny moments in it.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it's pointless.
Yeah.
It has no purpose.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's Toy Story 4.
It's Toy Story 4.
It doesn't have a purpose.
It's an addendum.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Toy Story was about Andy and his toys. Toy Story 4, what was the point?
Yeah. You saw it eventually then? No? Okay, cool.
No, someone spoiled it for me at work.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
One of the residents, patients, service users, whatever we call them. One of those. Yeah, he's sort of went, I saw Toy Story 4. I was like, okay. I haven't seen it yet. He goes, okay. Well, this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm sat there going, I can't tell you off. I can't tell you to stop.
Rubbish.
I could tell him to stop because I haven't seen it. Don't,
But you did see...
But I did see... I said, but I did see... This is what I did to him. I went, I saw Spider-Man Far From Home. This is what happened. And I didn't tell him. He went, I don't care. I don't like Spider-Man. I went, what?
What's wrong?
Who doesn't like Spider-Man? I'm not allowed to shake him. I don't know.
Yeah, that was me grabbing an invisible person by the lapels. I realised that it didn't actually. It doesn't.
That was for me, but then I drew attention to it. But I did see Far From Home.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to your spoiler cast yet because I haven't had time. So I don't know what you said.
It was an hour long.
Yeah. I don't know what you said.
I went on and on.
Yeah. I don't know what you said, but I can imagine.
Yeah. You didn't put out a spoiler cast at your end.
No. It was good, wasn't it?
It was good. Yeah. The last bit.
Yeah.
What happens? What happens from there?
Yeah.
It's fucked.
What the fuck?
Anyway, we got an email.
We got an email.
We got an email.
Get a pop out, love.
Yeah. From Robbie Polanco. We haven't heard from him.
Just assume anytime we say we've got an email, there's a 50-50 chance it's going to be Robbie.
Yeah.
The other is going to be Andrew.
Yeah.
Nobody else emails us.
No. But that's because these guys like a bit of long form.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a bit of long form?
Who
misses. He says, Dear ABH, greetings from Popton, Guatemala.
All right.
Yeah, because I remember the last time he got in contact with us, he was saying that he was saving up episodes because he was going to Guatemala with the army. So
now he's there.
This is it. I came here to help set up training events for soldiers from Massachusetts on a small base owned by Kaibil soldiers. Kaibil, K-A-I-B-I-L. Kaibil. Yeah.
That's how I read it.
That's how I'm going to say it. They're Guatemala's special forces. In this episode, the one he's listened to, we were talking about the most recent 007 films. I've only watched watched one of those. 007 is an outstanding character and gets the job done. Okay. As soon as I return, I'll catch up on the latest films. That's another thing that's happened recently, isn't it?
As you said that, I was like, let's.
Yeah, because this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. I can't remember the character's, the actress's name. Can you? Oh, fuck. But. Go.
But they have announced that in the next film, this actress that Tom's looking for the name of.
She was in Captain Marvel.
Right. She was her friend.
Lashana Lynch.
Yeah,
she was the other.
Oh, she was brilliant.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant actress.
She's brilliant. Brilliant actress. She can do whatever she wants.
I give
her permission.
Including being 007.
Yes. Now, they haven't said
no.
She's going to be the next James Bond.
In fact, what they did say...
Yes. She's going to take... No, I don't know if this is the same.
No.
She's going to take the code, the number, 007.
For a bit.
In the new film. Yeah. In the next film, she will be 007. The agent 007. Yeah. She's going to take his badge number. Call it what you want.
Probably because in this whole Daniel Craig storyline, they've been wanting to get rid of him the whole time. He's rogue. He's not reliable. Judi Dench demoted him.
So they find someone, make them 007, probably to take him down or put him to rights.
I can't remember which one it was, whether it was Skyfall or whether it was
I've not seen them.
One of the other ones. One of them, I'm pretty sure he's like stripped of his
badge or his number.
No, it's at the beginning of. Is it at the beginning of Casino Royale? It's at the beginning of the beginning of Casino Royale is where you see him gain his 007 by taking out someone.
Because that's a prequel type thing, is it not?
It's kind of like it has a kind of black and white grainy opening sequence where he's beating the shit out of someone in a bathroom.
Yeah.
And in one of them anyway,
he loses.
He actually goes missing.
Yeah.
He falls off a train on a bridge or something and goes missing.
Boom, boom. Sorry. Oh God.
And he goes missing for a while, but then comes back, and like the whole time after that, they're like, "You're too old. You're a what does she call him? You're a blunt instrument."
Ouch. I need to watch these.
They are.
Should I just watch the Daniel Craig ones? That would be okay, wouldn't it?
I think so.
I don't need to watch any.
Yeah, because the thing is,
I've got the collection.
You've got the whole collection. You
I don't have Casino Royale. That's the only one I don't have.
Casino
but I've
Royale,
got a space to put it in the box.
Casino Royale is probably the best one of the Daniel Craig ones.
Okay. But watch them.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like the second one, Quantum of Solace, was written during the writers' strike.
A lot of people don't like it, but then you have to watch.
But that one leads directly on from the end of Casino Royale. It picks up directly after the finish.
Is it Casino Royale? No, what was the latest one?
The latest one was Skyfall.
Okay, so that's the one I've got.
No, Spectre.
Spectre. I think my collection that I brought was before Spectre came out, but I don't know if it was announced. I think it's got Casino Royale, Skyfall, Casino Royale.
Question of Sport.
Question of Sport. Yeah. Either way, it's got 1, 2, and space for 3.
Right.
It doesn't have anywhere to put the fourth one. Fucking hell. I don't know the order or the names.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
But no, you need to watch. The only reason to watch Quantum of Solace is because it literally something happens at the end of Casino Royale and picks up straight away.
But literally try and watch it as soon as after.
Try and watch it in one go.
Back to back.
If you've got 5 hours.
But anyway, so this lady's, they've announced she's going to get the 007 number.
And
do you think they did that just to rile everyone up?
Absolutely. She's a black woman.
She's a black woman.
Right?
You bastards.
It wasn't bad enough when you were telling us Idris Elba was going to be the new Bond.
Yeah.
You can't... I mean, there was a furore over Daniel Craig playing James Bond because he's blonde.
Yeah.
That was the big thing before Craig became Bond.
A black woman. But she's not James Bond.
No. She's 007. The code.
Which is okay.
It's fine. I mean, if you want to look at it, I think we all know it's a code number.
Yeah.
And James Bond may well be a code name.
Yes.
Because let's face it, 7-ish people have played James Bond over the last 60-odd years.
Yeah.
And so if you want to... Because they kind of, in Skyfall, they tie back into some of the old... Like, they bring back the DB6.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's
as though he's actually driven
a reference to having driven it before, but not like this particular.
Him.
Yeah,
James Bond has driven it before, not necessarily him.
Yeah,
but it's what I've hated about this is I've read. Like I saw the article, and then you load the comments. Never load the comments. I loaded the comments.
No, I know, but I
have
have to.
I can't wait to watch Hannah Potter. Yeah, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And things like that. It's like just changing the name of male characters.
Yeah. And they've done it to kick up a stink because there's no other reason for them. Really
and 9 times out of 10, it's a guy saying it.
Yeah, of course.
But I've seen women doing it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for.
But I've also seen young people get on board with this as well. Like, which you would think like younger people would be a bit more okay with it, but also just be fucking rational about it. Who gives a fuck? It's like Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Doctor Who's an alien, doesn't have gender. Who gives a fuck if it's a woman playing Doctor Who? But yeah, like there was this one kid, because Luke put a thing up about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, this is going to be interesting."
Yeah.
And
cool.
I just put the little Michael Jackson eating popcorn emoji on,
just waiting
underneath it. Yeah, and soon enough, there was a kid who came on who he looks like he's about 15. He's probably about 20.
Or his initials HM.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because I think I might know who it is.
Right.
Glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I know who you're talking about.
He was like,
I've talked to him, but when we played. What game was it now? Oh, it was Uncharted 4 when the multiplayer beta came out. Like me and Luke were playing together, and he invited this kid in. And like I'm like when I'm playing online, I'm okay with just playing. Oh, did you see that? Just quiet. He felt the need to fill every space.
Oh, mate.
Like we're playing, and it was quiet for 2 seconds. He goes, "So what you guys have for dinner?" And then we all just started pissing ourselves laughing. But he's a nice kid. Like he's a nice kid. It's just he feels the need to fill voids. Just, like be okay with silence. Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to talk all the time.
I can't.
It's just one of those.
I find it more awkward people who need to fill silences than silences.
The silence is less awkward than.
I quite enjoy silence.
Yeah. I'd quite happily drive someone to work and just not say a word to them.
Silence.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, so
he kind of piled in saying like, actually, I don't get this. Like, it should be a man. I don't understand why they need to do this. And it's like, that's not James Bond, though, is it?
No, it's a number.
It's a number. She's not going to be James Bond. She's going to be 007 in the same way that you could be 007.
She's not going to be Jane Bond.
No, it's not going to be Jane Bond. They never said that in the article. Read the fucking article.
A year later. Oh, Jane Bond then, yeah.
And if they go that way, it's fine. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like if a female agent, if they were going to cast a female James Bond, they're not going to call her James Bond, are they?
No.
Like they're going to call her Jane Bond
or Jamie Bond
or that. Yeah.
But they're not going to do it.
More sense. They fucking well should. It would be amazing.
I'd love to do it just to piss people off.
But then there's people like being like, I'm never seeing another James Bond film again. This has destroyed the franchise. No, it hasn't. The franchise exists. You can go back and watch Sean Connery and Roger Moore prat around.
Rape women.
Dress up as clowns. Like
but you can do that. You can go watch The Caveman.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just do it.
I mean, the thing is, the Daniel Craig James Bond is still a misogynist arsehole.
Yeah.
But that's just the character of James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, he's an arsehole.
But it's...
However, it's becoming more like the way he was described as a blunt instrument. Like, he's a product of the Cold War. You're no longer... You're obsolete, basically, is what they keep saying. So they've been trying to get rid of him for the last 4 films.
But they can't.
but they can't because he's amazing at what he does.
For some reason, their accounts department don't know how to produce a P45.
But because he then goes rogue, saves the day, and they're like, oh, well, I suppose
He turns into Ethan Hunt, who actually is a version of James Bond. But let's not even go there.
Yeah.
But, like, this happened with Doctor Who. And she's great.
Yeah.
She's done really well. She's got good stories. So even if they do it, it will probably be good. Yeah. And I saw a comment to see the Mulan live action trailer.
Yeah.
Looks fantastic.
Amazing, right?
It looks incredible. They're not going to do Mushu.
No.
Which is a shame, but they're doing live action. You can't. Mushu was great. Like,
I don't think I ever saw Mulan.
Mulan's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
It was Eddie Murphy, right?
Yes, yeah. It's really good. But Mushu was really good, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do the songs. It's going to be a film.
It's a drama.
And it's a really fucking good story anyway, and it's going to be great. Luckily, they didn't cast Scarlett Johansson. It is actually... the person is the right ethnicity. It's great. But people are like... pissed off about it. Oh, it's not going to have this, it's not going to have that. And then someone commented underneath, and it goes for James Bond, it goes for Doctor Who. The best thing about reimaginings and remakes is the original still exists.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
It's okay because Ghostbusters is still there.
Yeah. It's not ruined your childhood. You've not been raped. Like,
don't watch episode 1, 2 and 3 if you don't like them.
Yeah.
Don't watch 7, 8 and 9 if you don't like them. Just stick with the original trilogy. They're still there. They're still good. Your
childhood hasn't been destroyed by adding things on to anything.
I understand my comment about Maleficent ruining Sleeping Beauty because it changes it because it's made by Disney. Therefore, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. But I can still enjoy Sleeping Beauty. I think Maleficent's a great film.
2, isn't there?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Why?
It doesn't make sense.
Especially if, like, the end of Maleficent... directly contradicts not Cinderella,
Sleeping Beauty.
Like, it crashed into that film.
Yeah,
like,
but
why is there going to be a second one?
But the problem I had with that is it's made by the same company.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It has changed.
They should have somehow managed to work it so that it integrated into their original story, like a prequel changing the course of the original makes no sense.
I mean, to be fair, they do tell the story of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, they do actually.
Within Maleficent anyway, so it's kind of a reimagining. But anyway,
but the fact is, you've still got your original that you can go back to. You've still got, like you say, with the Star Wars, you've still got the George Lucas ones, and you've got the good ones.
The other George Lucas ones.
Yeah.
not 1, 2,
and some people like 1, 2 and 3, and that's cool.
They're fine.
They're all right.
I
enjoyed them at the time because I was the right age.
I still think the pod racing is one of the best scenes in any Star Wars film because it looks great.
Right.
And the visual effects on it are brilliant. Corridor Crew did a breakdown of the pod racer visual effects, and they're like, it's great. It is really fucking good.
You can't pull it apart.
No, there are bits that are a bit weird, like rocks exploding before stuff hits it. But they're looking at it from a visual effects standpoint, and it's a frame before. Like they break it down that much.
Right.
It's really interesting.
I need to look at these.
They're really good.
But also, like, the fact that the lightsaber craft gets better all the way through those films until you get to the point in 3 where Anakin goes up against Obi-Wan, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. They've got some of the best fight choreography in it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got all this twirly, like one-handed, spinny rounding, and then you get to episode 4, and they're like having to use 2 hands because it's supposed to be a broadsword.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But well, you got ones wielding
but
2
then
and spinning.
there's a YouTube channel, like a visual effects artist on his own, or well, he did it with friends, obviously, but they did a reimagining of the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight.
Oh, right.
But they did it as though it's the Darth Vader from the end of Rogue One.
Oh.
And it's fucking incredible. Wow. And it's really good. And they did like face mapping for Alec Guinness onto the actor that's there, so it still looks like him. It's really fucking good. Cool. I'll have to show you.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But yeah, so she'll be great.
She will be.
She won't be James Bond.
No.
He'll probably reinstate himself. Actually, he probably won't, because it's his last film as 007 anyway, isn't it?
We've heard that before.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but this is really...
I'll never do that again. Oh, you've put another 0. Well, okay, I'll come back.
Yeah. He literally said after
I would rather slit my throat or slit my wrist than play James Bond again. And then they gave him a check and he went, all right, yeah,
here's
fine.
a dump truck full of cash.
But this was on the back of making 3 James Bond films in a very short period of time.
Yeah, he hadn't done anything else.
Yeah, so he's had a bit of a break. Yeah. And then he did the last Spectre.
Yeah. And then, like, that ended and you're like, well, he can't leave because the way Spectre ends, you're like, he's kind of come back.
Yeah,
like,
so now we've got this.
It would be weird.
This might be him retiring.
I think this'll...
No more James Bond films. Or that James Bond retiring.
Yeah, there'll be a new James Bond.
Yeah, it has to.
James Bond won't go anywhere.
Maybe Idris Elba.
Maybe Idris Elba. It would be amazing.
He would be great.
He would be brilliant.
But it would be better just for the fucking neckbeards if it's going to be a woman, a black woman at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and absolutely it should be. Why
I say that knowing fully well that I'm currently growing a neck beard because I haven't shaved.
Same here.
Yeah.
We do a podcast. Yeah. We're neckbeards.
We never ever contradict ourselves.
So we've done the 007 chat. When it comes to self-driving cars, this is back to Robbie.
Yes. Yeah.
If you remember, that's where we started.
Oh, that guy.
When it comes back to self-driving cars, I don't think I'll get one until I'm old because I just started driving my own car a year ago, so I enjoy driving from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And I said to him, like, that I don't really want an
autonomous I really enjoy
one.
Driving.
Electric, on the other hand,
yes,
I would like. I believe in recent news 2 porn stars had sex in a self-driving car. What are your thoughts on what should or shouldn't be allowed while the car is on autopilot?
I think sex shouldn't be allowed.
I mean, the autopilot's got to get a lot better than it is. Because autopilot in Teslas has killed people in the last couple of years.
I don't understand how they had sex. Because, like, with Tesla autopilot, you have to keep your hands on the wheel. Or, like, every 30 seconds, you need to stay alert.
Yeah.
So, and if you move it a certain amount, it will disengage autopilot. So how they manage to have sex in it, I don't know.
With great difficulty and care.
Autopilot, it's scary, but it's also great. Autopilot, if every car on the road had autopilot would be great. But they don't.
Yeah. And this is
because you can't allow for other people's mistakes. And to be fair, the autopilot in the UK isn't great at the minute anyway, because our roads are shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think in the States, in like most major cities anyway, the lanes are clearly marked and things like that.
Whereas and they're wide as well.
Yeah, whereas here they can be narrow.
Yeah.
The lines can be faded so the car can't see them.
Yeah.
Lane changing works differently over here to it does in America, so it's, But equally
as well, when you talk about autonomy, it needs vehicle to infrastructure. It's called V2X communication.
Yeah. They need to
not just vehicle to vehicle. It needs to be able to communicate with all the stuff around it.
Yeah, so like traffic signals.
So that all the other traffic merging stuff works. Yeah. And it's not coming anytime soon.
No.
Because
full autonomy, no.
No.
They do have it.
Of course.
I mean, on Earth Day, Tesla did a demonstration of full autonomous driving, where it left the factory, went driving for 10 or 15 minutes and came back to the factory without the guy having to do anything.
Yeah. At Goodwood, they got one of the robo race cars to do the hill climb on its own.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You can do that, though, because you can pre-program a course.
He took a test run up there, the driver, on one day,
Yeah.
And then the next day, or maybe however many hours later, he drove it onto the start line again, got out, punched a button, and it did it. I don't know whether it took his exact line.
I imagine it would.
But yeah, and this is the other.
If you put a hay bale out of place, it would probably crash through it.
No, because it's supposed to.
Oh, has it got sensors?
It's the prototype for what will be Robo Race. So there's going to be a fully autonomous racing series,
right,
which I don't fucking see the point of, because the point is it's supposed to be.
It would be cool.
Human endurance. It's going to be cool to watch.
Once.
But yeah. To kind of prove that you can do it.
Yeah.
But you can't make a fan base out of that, surely, because you're like, well, there's no personality to.
No, the only people I think who would enjoy that are engineers,
proper tech heads, yeah.
Because the determining factor on whether your car wins or not will be how the car's been engineered and set up.
And maybe you've got a different set of algorithms to, to another team or something.
Yeah,
it's bullshit. But I've also been in an autonomous car as well. They're not ready.
Oh no,
this fucking thing was weird. But that's again where this HUD technology comes in.
Yeah.
Because like when within 5 minutes of me going out in this autonomous car with like 4 other people in it, and they were explaining to me what was going on, we came to a roundabout, and a car was coming around the roundabout, and our car didn't stop and carried on going. But this car that was coming onto the roundabout was signalling to carry on round the roundabout.
Yeah.
So whether it saw that
or
and
not, we don't
continued
know,
because it knew that car was going around. The problem is people indicate weirdly on roundabouts, and you can't always tell. So there was like 5 seconds where I thought I was going to get hit.
5 seconds you went.
And then when we were in the centre of Milton Keynes, we were going towards a crossroads, which is rare in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, because it's usually roundabouts.
But there were cars going straight across, and we were going to be turning left. And there was a whole group of cars lined up in the continue straight on lane.
Yeah.
And our car was in the turning left, and because there were loads of cars here, it didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
It was really jittery about going forward because it could see cars.
Because they were really close.
And it was like, oh no, like the steering wheel was doing all this, and it just wasn't sure.
The car suddenly developed severe anxiety.
yeah, it was like that. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And then that gives you severe anxiety because you're like, this is fucked.
This isn't
normal. I want to get out. This is not how I would drive this car in this situation.
Yeah.
So again, this is where the HUD technology will come in, because it will actually be able to tell you that the car has seen that's blinker signal. You know, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, autonomy is not coming anytime soon. Don't worry about it too much, Robbie.
Yeah.
I reckon full autonomy is going to be like 50 years out.
Oh, it's a long way out.
Yeah.
It's a long way out.
Because you need to get all the infrastructure in
fully electric cars?
Fully electric cars are already here.
I mean, so where a majority of people have fully electric cars. So
5 years? 10?
You reckon, 5, 10 years? Yeah. There will still be... That will be when it tips to like the 50-50 scale, 5 or 10 years.
I mean, Sweden, like most of their, or is it Norway? One of the Scandinavian countries is virtually 80% electric already. Yeah,
because they got the infrastructure.
Exactly.
Because they have vision and they put in chargers in place. Because that's the problem. It's the, like you say, it's the what is it? The distance it can go. What did you call that? Range anxiety.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what people have at the minute. Like, but where am I going to charge it?
And there's not enough superchargers that can.
There's a lot of so sit and have a coffee while it charges like to 50% or whatever.
Rather
so you
than
can
waiting
get home
for 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
You do it in 15 minutes or something, and it charges to 80%. But then that puts strain on the grid. The more of those you put out, so the grid has to be updated. We have to create more power to be able to sustain that. So
so it's a lot. There's
a lot.
I only know. I mean, the Hilton Hotel has Tesla chargers.
Mm. There are some up at the Gillingham services on the A2.
Yeah. The service stations generally have them.
Yeah.
And the ones down the M2, one stop towards Ashford from Maidstone, I think they have it. I can't remember what it's called. Big services anyway. But yeah, so they have it. The Hilton Hotel has it. I know my dad's work car park has it, but obviously you need to work there to use them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some about. But we don't know where they all are because we don't have electric cars.
Yeah.
This is the thing. If we
No,
had an electric car,
there's a really handy website called Zap Map.
Yeah.
That tells you exactly where everything is. But
there's not a lot around here.
There's not a lot around here. That's the that's the point. Yeah.
Blue water.
Yes. And they're starting to put stuff like that into. I know IKEA up in Lakeside has got electric charging stations and car parking spots with chargers
just for electric cars.
Yeah. So more and more of that. He goes on to say, speaking of farewell tours, because we were talking about bands that broke up and then
I've had that conversation several times with several people because it's annoying.
Yeah.
Probably Linus.
Dice rollers.
Yeah.
You know, they're playing again this weekend or next weekend.
Fuck it.
The only group I'm familiar with that announced a retirement tour and returned a few years later with the Swedish House Mafia. They played a surprise show last year at Ultra Music Festival in Miami. Never thought they'd get back together because, according to their documentary, they seemed annoyed with the one member who liked being alone.
Yeah.
Which I'd heard as well, that they don't get on.
Yeah, so Robbie's a big EDM fan, isn't he?
Big EDM fan, yeah, absolutely.
I was actually thinking of him last night because they were on whatever channel was on last night when I got home. They had like a, I don't know, it was like a big EDM festival in Belgium.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called, but
not Pink Pop or something.
No. But it was like a big, and I'm watching it like. There's a lot of people standing watching one guy behind some decks.
Well, it's what we were talking about Glastonbury last
time.
I'd be interested to hear what he thought about that kind of Chemical Brothers conversation that we had.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was like the music was good.
Yeah.
Like, I like that kind of music.
Yeah.
It was Steve Aoki.
Oh right, yeah. The guy who throws cake into the crowd.
He didn't at this particular
Did he not?
time.
Oh,
no,
right.
no, it was just one song.
Yeah.
Which I find weird.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, like at Glastonbury, they'll show 2 or 3 songs and then go back to Edith Bowman and whoever she's presenting with.
Mark Radcliffe.
Yeah, it's always. But like with this, it was like they joined him and he was halfway through mixing into a song.
Right.
And then when that sort of finished and it sounded like he was mixing into his next song, it went back to the... And I was like, that's weird. That's weird. It must be hard to do that.
Yeah.
At an EDM show
when you're used to mixing in.
It's constantly constant music, so you need to just cut out.
Yeah.
It's weird. Anyway.
Yeah. It felt great to hear. It felt great to hear your familiar voices as a stranger in a strange country.
Yeah. But it must be. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was going to say then. Oh God!
But yeah, I kind
of
replied a little bit to him, and I wanted to find out a bit more about the soldiers that he's out there.
That's really interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and
don't worry about what we're talking about, Robbie. Like,
tell me about what you're
much
up to.
more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I asked him about these Kaibil soldiers, and he said, "Oh, they look tough and scary. We were told not to talk to them unless spoken to, and we can't leave our own area."
Terrifying.
Yeah, but that's the military, isn't it? I suppose,
terrifying. Like I've seen a film. I can't remember what film it was now, where people they went to another and they were like, "Don't talk to them. You're only here to do this job."
Yeah.
And it was that sort of setup.
When I started working with some of them, I noticed they didn't carry water. One day they helped us set up a range of holes that had to get dug so we could put these targets into place. Hours in the sun, and these Kaibils seemed unfazed by the heat, not thirsty at all. I drank 3 bottles of water. They had none. I was impressed and scared.
Yeah.
But then I suppose it's that whole thing, isn't it? Like if you're used to that kind of humidity and heat and stuff, you do it's natural.
It's natural. Your body's not going to...
Yeah. But then it kind of adds, to, I suppose, to a foreigner, it adds to the mystique, doesn't it? You know, like these guys are tough.
Yeah.
One day I was translating for my captain, and one of the Kaibil captains, they started to talk about...
Kaibil captain sounds like a fucking... sounds like an enemy from Destiny. Kaibil captain. Actually, they have Kabul, so...
There you go.
Yeah.
They started to talk about their wives and how they proposed. The Kaibil captain was very pleased and invited us to a game of soccer. They murdered us, and later they...
That line gets me.
Hopefully not literally.
That line gets me every time. They invited us to soccer. They murdered us.
And they murdered us.
Wait, what?
We're buried in shallow graves.
I did a double take.
In those holes we were digging earlier.
We were digging our own graves.
We hope you're all right, Rob.
Yeah. I'm assuming you played soccer and they were very good.
Massively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and later that evening we drank beer and watched the Mexico versus USA soccer game at their bar on the base. That was my first time ever watching a full soccer game, and it felt great. A good soccer game.
Yes.
Is fun to watch.
International matches. I love, as long as it's good. That's it.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where you can draw.
Yeah.
And it can be 0-0.
It's 90 minutes.
It's a long time.
Yeah. But I have that when I watch American football. Like the first few times I watched it, I was like, I don't like it's long.
A lot
because
of
they
American
have. I think
sports.
it's 80 minutes.
Yeah.
But
it's split
they don't
out.
count stoppage.
No.
If they stop for 5 minutes, that's another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And
they
there's
stop the clock.
They stop the clock. There's a lot of changeover,
Yeah.
so attack and defence.
Well, there's two separate teams, aren't there? There's an attacking team and a defence
But when they do that swap, they've stopped the clock.
Yeah.
And this 80-minute game can go on for 3 hours, depending how much it stops. And
it's the same with like baseball and ice hockey as well. They can go on forever.
But now I understand the rules of American football. It's really good. Like the strategy and stuff like that is really, really good. I find that with rugby as well. They're much more entertaining games. Than
I really enjoy watching
soccer.
rugby. I don't necessarily follow all the rules.
No.
But it's much more entertaining to watch because there's stuff actually going on.
It's tactical. It's why I like watching UFC as well, because although to some people, but the first few times I watched it, I was like, I hate this grappling. I like it when they're punching and kicking. I hate it when they're grappling. But after watching it for a few months, I was kind of like, the grappling's actually more entertaining.
Right.
Because of the amount of skill involved. Like, you start to see it.
Yeah.
I guess that's the same with soccer. I guess there is skill involved.
There's definitely skill involved. There has to be.
But I think soccer's one of those games you can watch passively.
Yes.
Whereas like American football, rugby, UFC, you have to be actively watching it. You have to try and figure out what's going on all the time. Football, you don't need to.
I guess so, yeah. And again, it comes down to whether you're a fan of the sport or not, I guess, or like how open you are to seeing past the pampered.
It's the celebrity
players.
part of it, I think.
That's what I don't like. But then I love Formula One.
Yeah. But then again, I was going to say UFC.
But the thing with Formula One is like it's more about the team of engineers behind those drivers. Like it's a team sport again, and it's tactics and it's a team bonding together, getting everything right. Those pit stops, you can change four tires in under 2 seconds. Like,
it's fucking ridiculous. I saw a video on Facebook where they showed a pit stop from like the early 90s compared to a pit stop now. They used to take like 20-30 seconds in the 90s.
Yeah, I know.
They're like 2 seconds now.
Yeah.
5 maybe if you're refueling as well.
Yeah, if you change a nose cone, it takes 20. But that's taking a nose cone off, putting a new one on, fitting it so that it's tight, adjusting it so that it's the right aerodynamic levels. Like, it's ridiculous.
I'm trying to like anthropomorphisize when they refuel, because they refuel really quickly.
They don't do it anymore.
Do they not refuel anymore?
Refueling isn't part of it anymore, and that was what used to take most of the time in the 90s. But it was also dangerous because they were trying to do it as quickly as possible, and people went up in flames.
I'm trying to say, because they used to pump fuel through really quickly.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous, like 15 gallons a second or something.
In my head, I anthropomorphise, and I'm just trying to imagine what sound it would make. Just as it throwing fuel into the tank.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just went through my head and made me laugh.
But it is, though. It's like, it's astounding. And it's amazing that more people don't get injured.
Yeah. It's crazy, the pit stops.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, UFC has that sort of pampered celebrity, but then they're putting their face in front of a fist.
Yeah, like
so
there's a difference there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like pugilists have always had that celebrity because they're doing something that no one wants to do, which is getting punched and kicked repeatedly.
Yeah. 5
Fair
minutes
enough.
at a time.
Yeah, you deserve to be a bit pampered in your day-to-day life if you're taking beatings to the face.
You want a massage?
Body.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need one.
Yeah. Really. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And it's really great to hear from Robbie again. Like we said last time that we heard from him was a good few weeks ago now, saying he was going out there. So it's nice to have that kind of little update. And again, to ask kind of questions about what's going on out there, because to us, that's endlessly fascinating, I think.
It is really fascinating.
He's just like, oh yeah, there's these Kai Bill soldiers. They're the Guatemalan Special Forces. What the fuck? What are they like?
Wait, what? Hang on.
Tell me what you're doing.
Please?
Yeah.
When did we last hear him? 1st of June.
Yeah.
Was the last time. Oh, when you emailed back.
So, yeah, like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah, get so much fucking junk in that email. Anyway. But not Robbie.
Not Robbie.
Hang on.
Wow.
I said it, it's because I was scrolling through trying to find Robbie's email.
You meant
and it was just
our
like,
email
there's so
account.
much junk to go through in that email account just to find the stuff that actually we want to find. Sorry, yeah, that was really weird. Engage brain before speaking.
It's one of those things.
No, it was the scrolling through all of the emails, like fucking Word Fence, Podbean, all Patreon, that shit, just to find Robert. Patreon we like.
We do like.
We like Patreon. Coincidentally, if you want to know.
Yeah, we're on Patreon, by the way.
Yeah.
$1 a month.
Yeah, get lots of stuff.
Lots of free shit. Speaking of which, maybe we should get on and do some of that free shit.
Yeah, maybe.
A very small amount.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you, Robbie, for getting in contact.
Yes,
thank you for anyone who sends an email or talks to us on Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
We really enjoy, your. We just really enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, some really good interactions.
Yeah.
You're on that.
Well,
Me not so much.
Only because I have my desktop all set up at work, basically. So when I'm kind of in between doing work, I kind of need a bit of a break.
Check on it.
Yeah.
Share an article or two.
Yeah, that kind
of
thing.
It's good, yeah.
I try.
Yeah, I try.
But yeah, so if anyone else wants to get in contact with us, we'd love it because it gives us more content to talk about.
It does.
So by all means, send in stuff. What do you think of Black Woman James Bond?
It's fine.
Let us know.
Yeah. What are you? Because I hope the people who listen have got the same view as us. They might not like the idea, and they might have a very valid reason.
Yeah.
So
precisely.
Let us know, please.
Yeah. Just get in contact. It's cool. And until next time, I've been Tom.
I've been Ant.
Bye. Hello, and welcome back to A New Orbit here. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 249, right?
Yeah.